The smoke rises, curling upward, thick with the scent of something ancient, something forgotten. You hear it in the stillness. A soft whisper, almost imperceptible, but it pulls you in, deeper, past the veil of what you know. The air is heavy, suffocating with a presence you can't name yet. And in that very moment, you realize the truth. You are not alone. There are eyes, watching you, not from the shadows, but from within the smoke itself. Eyes that have seen everything, eyes that remember all. These are the eyes of Tezcatlipoca, the god who never blinks, who never turns away. His gaze penetrates all, and you, mere mortal, are caught in it now. How did you come to this place? To this forgotten realm where the gods once walked, and where their whispers still linger? You sit still, your breath shallow, as the dark smoke swirls around you. The ritual has begun. The forgotten gods have risen from the depths of the past, and their truths once too terrible to bear are about to unfold before you. But it is not the gods you should fear. No, it is the smoke, the endless consuming smoke that binds you now. You feel the weight of its ancient power pressing down, as if the very air itself is alive with knowledge too dangerous to possess. You are here because you sought knowledge, the kind of knowledge only whispered about in forgotten temples. The kind of knowledge hidden in the deep recesses of the earth. You heard the stories? The myths of Tezcatlipoca, the god of night, of darkness, of the mirror that reflects not just the world, but the soul. The gods who once ruled this earth did not leave easily. They left behind fragments of themselves scattered across time and space, lost in the cracks of history. You've come to find them, to witness them. But be warned, the truth you seek may not be the truth you desire. As you draw in a slow breath, the smoke thickens, wrapping itself around you like an old, familiar shroud. The whispers are growing louder, closer, more insistent. You hear their words, and though you do not yet understand them, you know they are important. You know they carry the weight of an ancient power, one that should never have been forgotten. Yet here you are, hearing it. The first words, lost for centuries, have found their way to your ears. Tezcatlipoca, the name hisses through the smoke. It is the first of many whispers. The god's name is sacred, forbidden, and now it is spoken in your presence. This is no accident. This is no simple curiosity. You have crossed a line, one that cannot be uncrossed. This god, who watched the world burn and rise again in smoke, is more than a memory. He is alive in the essence of this place, in the very air you breathe. It is said that those who glimpse his reflection in the smoke are forever marked. They see themselves as they truly are, stripped of the illusions that keep them whole. But this is no ordinary reflection. It is the reflection of the soul, twisted and distorted by the weight of forgotten gods. You feel it now, his gaze. It rests upon you, heavy, infinite, and it is not kind. Tezcatlipoca sees beyond the veil of your thoughts, beyond the surface of your fears. His eye is in the smoke, his eyes are in the fire, and they are focused on you. Your hands tremble slightly. The weight of the ancient ritual settling into your bones. The truth is clear. You've come to uncover a god. But the cost is far greater than you ever imagined. In seeking the forgotten, you are already lost. You have wandered too far into the depths of the earth, into the shadow of Tezcatlipoca, and now there is no turning back. You hear his whisper, deeper now, more sinister. Do you see me? Do you understand? You close your eyes, the weight of his question pressing down on your chest. The smoke is thick now, blinding, but it is the truth it carries that blinds you the most. You begin to understand, just a little, the gravity of what you've uncovered. This god, Tezcatlipoca, is not just a legend. He is a part of the fabric of the world, woven into the very foundation of existence. To seek him out is to seek knowledge that no mortal should ever possess. But it's too late. You've seen the smoke, you've heard the whispers. The story of Tezcatlipoca has already begun to consume you. It will not let you go now. There is no exit from this place, no escape from the god's gaze. You must follow the path, down into the darkness, further than any mortal should dare. And so, you listen. You listen to the whispers, to the voices of the past, to the god who watches in smoke. The air grows thicker, heavier, as the whispers carry on, wrapping themselves around you. You feel the weight of them, pressing in on all sides, as though the very walls of this forgotten world are closing in. You are no longer sure where the smoke ends and the darkness begins. And then you see it, a mirror glimmering in the haze. It isn't like any mirror you've ever seen before. This one is not made of silver or glass, but something darker, something that seems to absorb the light around it. It shimmers with a kind of malevolent energy, a presence that almost feels like it's alive. This is no ordinary reflection, and the god who watches in smoke has drawn you closer to it, pulling you into its depths. You approach slowly, drawn by a force you cannot resist. You realize that the mirror is not merely reflecting your image, it is showing you something far deeper. It is showing you your soul. Tezcatlipoca, you hear the name again, this time clearer, as if spoken directly into your mind. Do you dare look? There is a weight in his words, a challenge. The mirror isn't just a tool to show reflection. It is a tool to expose everything hidden in your heart, your mind, your very essence. It is said that the gods of the Aztec Empire used mirrors like this, not to look into the world, but to peer into the true nature of their subjects. The ones who gazed into them found their innermost secrets laid bare. The question was never whether they could see, but whether they could bear what was revealed to them. You stand before it now, the surface of the mirror rippling like smoke. It beckons you forward, as though waiting for you to take the first step into the unknown. Hesitation grips your heart, but the pull is too strong. You reach out, your hand trembling as it brushes against the cold, smooth surface. The moment your fingers make contact, the reflection warps, distorting your face. The image shifts, becoming something other. Your eyes widen as you see not just yourself, but something far darker. You see shadows moving in the depths of your soul, things you've hidden from yourself, things you've tried to forget. The mirror does not just reflect your face, it reflects your truth. You see yourself through the eyes of Tezcatlipoca, the god who watches, the god who judges. It is said that once a mortal gazes into his mirror, they are never the same. What you see in that mirror is not a truth you can escape, for it is not just your own reflection, it is the truth of the world, twisted and darkened by the god's ancient gaze. The smoke thickens, and the vision in the mirror becomes clearer, more vivid. You see a great sacrifice being made, the blood of an emperor spilling across a ritual stone, his final breath a prayer to Tezcatlipoca himself. Eyes are wide with fear, for he knows what this mirror reveals. It is not just the gods who watch, mortals too are watched, trapped in the ever-turning gaze of eternity. But the vision shifts again, and now you see something that chills you to the bone. A war, not of weapons, but of souls.
Wow.
The gods fought not with their strength, but with their power to break the will of men. Tezcatlipoca stands at the heart of it, watching as his enemies crumble, as the very fabric of existence begins to unravel. And through it all, his mirror is there, reflecting the truth of their power, of their fear. The image fades, leaving you standing before the mirror once again, breathless, shaken. The silence is deafening now, the weight of what you've seen pressing in on your chest. You want to look away, but the pull of the mirror is too strong. It calls to you, urging you to seek more, to uncover more of what lies hidden beneath the surface. But the mirror's truth is not meant for mortals. It is a truth that can break you, shatter your very being, for once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And yet, there is a part of you that wonders. If you look long enough, if you search deep enough, will you find the answers you seek? Will you uncover the true nature of Tezcatlipoca, the god who watches in smoke? Or will you simply be consumed by the darkness, lost in the reflection of your own soul? The god's voice calls to you again, this time softer, almost a whisper. Do you see? Do you understand? The mirror ripples once more, and you know deep down that the journey you've begun cannot be undone. There is no turning back now. The path ahead is unclear, but it is the only one you can walk. You can feel the god's gaze upon you, even now, watching as you stand before the mirror, waiting. You step away from the mirror, though the pull to return is nearly overwhelming. The air around you seems heavier now, charged with a strange energy, an energy that can only come from the ancient god who watches from beyond the smoke. His presence is suffocating, pressing down on your every breath, but in that pressure you find an odd sense of inevitability. You know you must continue forward, for to stop now would mean to fall deeper into his gaze, to become nothing but a shadow of yourself. Your eyes flicker towards the floor, where something gleams faintly in the dim light. It is an object that stands apart from the smoke and shadows, something dark and gleaming with an almost unnatural luster. You kneel to pick it up, feeling the cold bite of the stone beneath your fingertips. It is obsidian, deep, black, and endless. The weight of the stone is heavy, more than its size would suggest. There is power within it, an energy that hums with a low, almost imperceptible vibration. It is said that Tezcatlipoca himself crafted such stones, using them as both instruments of judgment and tools of great power. The obsidian mirror, the one he used to judge his enemies and his followers alike, was formed from this very stone. It is a stone that holds the darkness of the world within it, a darkness that no mortal can truly understand. You hold it in your hand, turning it over slowly, feeling the smooth surface beneath your palm. The more you focus on the obsidian, the more you realize that it is not just a stone, it is a doorway. A doorway to something darker, something that transcends time, beyond the mortal realm. This is not an artifact left behind by a god, it is a remnant of the god himself. A chilling whisper curls through the smoke, and you know it is Tezcatlipoca's voice once again. The god speaks in riddles, in truths too terrifying to face, but you are compelled to listen, compelled to understand. You hold in your hand the key to a forgotten world, the god murmurs. The obsidian sees what the mirror cannot, holds the darkness that is mine, the darkness that dwells in all things. The words linger in the air, swirling with the smoke around you. You realize then that the mirror you saw before, the one that showed you the deepest corners of your soul, was but a reflection of what lay within you all along. The obsidian is different. It does not reflect, it consumes. It devours your essence and shows you a truth that cannot be unlearned. You place the obsidian down on the ground and step back, eyes never leaving it. The stone begins to shimmer. Slowly at first, then faster, as though some ancient force is awakening within it. The shadows seem to swirl deeper inside, and for a moment, you are no longer sure if the darkness is part of the stone, if the stone is part of you. A feeling of dread sinks in. You understand now that Tezcatlipoca is not merely a god who watches from afar. He is a god who shapes the world with his very presence, molding it as a sculptor molds clay. The obsidian is a manifestation of his will, a will that has twisted reality itself, bending time and space to suit his desires. To touch the stone is to touch the core of his power. Your breath catches in your throat. You've heard the tales, the legends of the priests who sought the god's favor by carving the obsidian into shapes of power, seeking to use its essence for their own desires. But those who did so were never seen again. Their names were erased from history, their souls devoured by the very darkness they sought to control. And yet here you stand, holding the obsidian, tempted by its power. There is something in the stone, something that calls to you, something that promises knowledge beyond the reach of any mortal. The temptation is unbearable. You know that if you allow the stone to consume you, you will never be the same. But the pull is irresistible. You are drawn to it, as if the very essence of your being is being rewritten by the god who watches. Tezcatlipoca's voice, softer now, carries through the smoke once more. Take it, he whispers. Embrace the darkness that is already within you. It is your birthright. The obsidian will show you the truth that no mortal should ever know. It will reveal to you the secrets of the world, the secrets that have been hidden from mankind for millennia. You tremble, unable to resist. You reach down and grasp the obsidian, feeling its cold surface once again. As your fingers wrap around it, a surge of energy pulses through you, and you see it a vision of an ancient world. A world consumed by the darkness of Tezcatlipoca's gaze. You see the gods at war, battling for supremacy, each one seeking to control the obsidian's power. You see the fall of empires, the rise of new ones, all shaped by the god who watches, the god who controls the smoke. You see men and women, their souls shattered by the truth they sought, unable to bear the weight of what they had uncovered. The obsidian, it seems, is not just a tool, it is a curse, a weapon that can destroy not only the body, but the soul. The vision fades, leaving you shaken, gasping for breath. The smoke is thick now, the air suffocating. Tezcatlipoca's gaze is upon you, unblinking, eternal. And as you stand there holding the obsidian, you understand the true cost of seeking the gods. You have glimpsed the darkness that lies beneath the surface of the world, the darkness that has always been there, waiting. And now that you've seen it, you know that there is no going back. You are forever marked by the God who watches in smoke. The world around you begins to shift, the shadows deepening as the smoke thickens once more. It is as if the air itself bends to Tezcatlipoca's will, twisting and turning with an unseen force. You feel the ground beneath you tremble, and for a moment, it seems as though the very fabric of the earth is unraveling, pulling you into the abyss. In that instant, you understand, Tezcatlipoca is not just a god of observation. He is the god of creation and destruction, the one who holds the power to shape and reshape the world at his will. You are a mere pawn in the game of gods, and you have walked too far into his domain. The whispers grow louder, rising into a cacophony of ancient voices, each one a faint echo of a forgotten era. You hear them, the voices of the gods who came before, their cries of betrayal and defiance. And then, amidst the chorus of lost deities, you hear Tezcatlipoca's voice again, clearer now, cutting through the smoke like a blade. Do you see it? T asks, the weight of his words settling deep within your chest. The heavens once stood proud above us all, but I have broken them. The skies no longer serve their purpose. As if in response to his words, the sky itself begins to crack open. The fabric of the heavens shatters, like glass breaking under pressure. You feel the weight of it, the collapse of a divine order, the end of something ancient and powerful. What was once a symbol of unity and balance is now nothing more than a fractured, empty void. The broken sky, with its jagged edges and swirling clouds, seems to echo the very nature of Tezcatlipoca, a god who holds the power to create and destroy, to watch as the world falls apart, yet remain untouched by the chaos he has wrought. The smoke swirls around you, pulling you deeper into the god's domain, and as you step forward, you feel the presence of something greater, something older pressing in on you. This is no ordinary destruction. No, this is a rupture in the very fabric of reality itself. The heavens have been torn asunder, and the pieces fall like fragments of shattered glass, drifting aimlessly into the void. The air is thick with the weight of it, the weight of something that has been broken, something that cannot be repaired. It is said that when Tezcatlipoca tore the heavens apart, he did so with a single thought, a thought that shattered the unity of the cosmos. The gods were not prepared for it, and the mortal realm was forever changed. The sun no longer rose as it once did, the stars no longer aligned in their sacred patterns. Everything was lost to the smoke, everything was lost to his gaze. But what was the price of such destruction? What did Tezcatlipoca gain from breaking the skies? That question lingers in your mind, unanswered, as you stand before the remnants of a shattered world. The skies above are no longer a reflection of the divine. They are a mirror of chaos, a reflection of the god's own nature. They are a warning to those who dare seek the truth. There is a mystery here, one that has haunted scholars for centuries, the reason why Tezcatlipoca chose to break the heavens in the first place. Some say it was out of jealousy, a desire to disrupt the balance of the world. Others claim it was a test of power, a way for the god to prove his dominance over the other deities. But no one knows for certain. What we do know is that the heavens were never the same after that night. Perhaps in a way the earth itself has never been the same. The broken sky above you is a constant reminder of this god's wrath, the symbol of his control over the very forces that govern existence. You feel small beneath it, insignificant in the grand scheme of things. The smoke that surrounds you seems to pulse with a life of its own, its tendrils creeping closer, wrapping around you like a serpent coiling its prey. Tezcatlipoca's voice reaches you once again, this time softer, almost a whisper. Look, mortal, see what I have done. And as you look up at the fractured sky, you see it the dark clouds swirling above you, the jagged edges of the heavens, each one a reminder of the god's power. You understand now, in a way you didn't before. This destruction, this collapse of the world is not an accident. It is Tezcatlipoca's design, his will made manifest. The gods have always been at war, but this god who watches in smoke, is different. His war is not fought with swords or armies. It is fought with the very fabric of existence, with the destruction of the divine order itself. And as you stand there, beneath the broken skies, you realize that you are caught in the middle of this battle between creation and destruction, between the gods and the mortals who dare to challenge them. And you know deep down that you cannot escape it. You are a part of this war now, whether you wish to be or not. Gods will not let you go. They will watch you, always, from the smoke. The air grows colder, thick with a creeping dread. You feel it in your chest, the tightening, the slow suffocation of something ancient, something that has always been with you. The pulse of your own heartbeat becomes louder, each thud a drumbeat that echoes in the hollow spaces of your mind. You cannot ignore it. The rhythm is too strong, too insistent. It matches the rhythm of Tezcatlipoca's gaze, the unblinking watchfulness of a god who sees all. In the distance, the smoke shifts once again, and from it, a figure emerges, shadowy, indistinct, but unmistakable. It is the figure of a priest, clothed in the ceremonial garb of a forgotten age. His face is obscured by the shadows, but his presence is undeniable. He stands before you, as though waiting for something. His hands are clasped in prayer, fingers trembling slightly, instinctively, what he seeks. This priest, a servant of Tezcatlipoca, seeks something that is both sacred and forbidden. The heart, at the center of life, the source of both power and fragility. It is said that in ancient times, the priests who followed Tezcatlipoca would offer their hearts to the god in exchange for knowledge and strength. The sacrifice was both an offering and a test. Could they endure the weight of the god's gaze, or would they be consumed by it? As you watch the priest, the smoke grows thicker, swirling around him like a living thing. He steps forward, and in his hands, he holds something. A jagged stone knife, its edge glinting in the dim light. You feel the air shift, the temperature dropping even further. The ritual is about to begin. The priest raises the knife high, and for a moment, the world stands still. Time seems to stretch, elongating in the silence. His eyes, though obscured by shadow, are focused, filled with devotion. He is about to make an offering that no mortal should ever make. The heart is sacred, and to give it is to give everything, to surrender your very essence to the god who watches in smoke. A whisper echoes through the smoke, Tezcatlipoca's voice once again. "Do you understand, mortal?" the god asks. The heart is the key. It is the pulse of the world, the beat that keeps the gods alive. Those who offer it to me are reborn in my image, but they are never the same. Their hearts are mine to command. The priest's breath quickens, his pulse racing in time with the god's demand. You feel the weight of the ritual, the gravity of what is about to transpire. The heart once given can never be returned. The god will consume it, and in doing so, consume the soul of the one who offered it. The knife descends, cutting through the air with a sound that seems too sharp to final. The priest does not flinch. He does not hesitate. His devotion is unwavering, for in his heart, he knows that this is the only way to please his God, the only way to earn his favor. The blood will flow and the pulse will cease, but the offering will be made. As the knife touches the skin, you feel the pulse of your own heart quicken. In sync with the priest's, the sacrifice has begun. But something is wrong. The air shifts again and you hear a sound, a low, mournful groan, as though the very earth itself is mourning the loss of something precious. The smoke thickens, and in that moment you realize the truth. The priest's offering is not merely a sacrifice. It is a trap, a snare set by Tezcatlipoca to draw those who seek knowledge into his grasp. The god does not seek offerings for power alone. He seeks to break those who give. He seeks to break their spirits, their wills, their very essence. The sacrifice is not a gift. It is a means to an end. You watch, helpless, as the priest falls to his knees. The blood pouring from his chest, his life slipping away with each beat of his heart. But even in death, the god's gaze is upon him. Even as the pulse fades, the god is watching, waiting. And you realize, with a shudder, that the same fate awaits you. You too are caught in the god's gaze. You too are part of the ritual. The pulse of the heart is sacred, yes, but it is also a curse. Tezcatlipoca speaks once more, his voice almost tender, as though speaking to a child. Your heart is mine, mortal. It always has been. It beats for me, it beats for the darkness. And when it stops, it will stop for me. The smoke curls around you, pulling you closer to the god's gaze. The priest's sacrifice is but a shadow of what is to come. Know deep down that your own heart will be the next to beat its final rhythm under the watchful eyes of Tezcatlipoca. The god who watches in smoke is patient. He does not hurry. He waits for the pulse to slow, for the heart to falter. And as the smoke wraps around you, as the whispers grow louder, you cannot escape the feeling that the heart of the world is already in the god's hands. That pulse, the one that beats inside you, inside everyone, belongs to him now. And it will never stop. Not until the end. The air grows colder still, thick with an unnatural stillness, and the smoke swirls in a vortex around you. The sounds of the world seem to fade into nothingness, and you are left in a silence that is both comforting and suffocating. It is as though the universe itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. Waiting for the moment when the darkness of Tezcatlipoca's domain will consume all. And then, above you, the sky shifts. The once blanketing darkness is pierced by strange, flickering stars, each one dancing in an erratic pattern, not quite following the rhythms of the heavens. These are no ordinary stars. No, these are the stars of Tezcatlipoca, the divine lights that once guided the ancient people. They were said to appear only when the god himself was watching, when the gods of old were on the verge of returning. You find yourself gazing upward, drawn by the hypnotic motion of the stars. The patterns they form are not familiar to you, not the constellations of the ancient sky, but something new, something forbidden. These stars pulsed with an eerie, otherworldly glow, as though they are alive, watching. And with each flicker, you feel Tezcatlipoca's gaze growing stronger, closer. The whispers return, now louder, more urgent, as if the god is speaking directly to you. His voice, soft but insistent, reverberates through the smoke, wrapping itself around your thoughts. "Do you see the stars?" he asks. "They are not mere lights in the sky. They are the beacons of my will, guiding those who seek me. They are the eyes of the world and the eyes of the gods. Look into them, mortal. And know that what you see is not just the night sky, it is a reflection of your own soul." The stars seem to pulse in time with the beating of your heart, and you realize, with a sudden jolt of dread, that they are not simply distant lights. They are a part of you. Your soul is connected to them, tied to their flickering patterns. As though your very existence is woven into the fabric of the cosmos, the night is not still. It is alive with the movement of the stars, the shifting patterns, the swirling energies. There is a rhythm to it, a rhythm that is both beautiful and terrifying. It is as if the heavens themselves are reaching out to touch you, drawing you into their dance, into their rhythm. But there is something wrong, something off. The stars are not merely guiding, they are pulling you toward something, toward an unseen force that lies beyond them. It is the pull of Tezcatlipoca, the god who watches in smoke. He is not merely a god of observation, he is a god of control, a god who shapes the fate of those who look upon his stars. The stars, it seems, are not just lights, they are traps, set in place by the god himself, drawing those who gaze upon them deeper into his web of influence. You feel a cold shiver run down your spine, a sense of unease that you cannot shake. The smoke around you thickens, curling tighter and tighter as though it is closing in on you. And then, in the midst of it all, you see something in image, fleeting and distorted, flicker in the corner of your eye. It is a vision of the past, a vision of a time long forgotten. When the gods walked among men and the world was still young, you see a great city, its walls adorned with the symbols of Tezcatlipoca, its people walking beneath the smoking stars. They're offering sacrifices, their hearts laid bare before the god, their souls given freely to his will. And as you watch, you realize that the city, though vibrant with life, is not what it seems. It is a place of suffering, a place where the god's demands are met with blind obedience, and the people are consumed by the darkness of their own devotion. The vision fades as quickly as it came, but the feeling lingers, an overwhelming sense of dread, something ancient and all-consuming. You understand now, in a way that you didn't before, that the stars are not a gift, they are a curse, a way for Tezcatlipoca to keep his gaze upon the world, to watch as it unravels, as the god's influence continues to grow. You turn away from the sky, but the stars remain with you, flickering in your mind's eye, haunting you with their presence. You cannot escape them. They are a part of you now, tied to the very essence of your being, like the smoke that wraps around your soul. Tezcatlipoca's voice is softer now, but no less powerful. Do you see, mortal?
No.
Do you understand what the stars reveal? The universe is but a reflection of my gaze. And when you look into the night sky, you look into me. Stars are my eyes, and through them I see all. I see you. I see the hearts of men and gods alike. The smoke swirls around you, thickening once again, and you feel the weight of his gaze pressing down on you. There is no escape. You are caught, bound by the stars, bound by the gaze of Tezcatlipoca, the god who watches in smoke. And as you stand there beneath the flickering lights of the heavens, you know that there is no turning back. The path you have chosen is one that leads only deeper into his domain, deeper into the smoke. And so you listen as the stars continue to flicker above, watching, always watching. The stars above pulse in time with your racing heart, as if the very heavens are aware of your every breath. You can feel it now. Tezcatlipoca's gaze is not just an observation. It is a weight, an overwhelming force that has settled into the very core of your being. His influence is pervasive, all-encompassing. You are caught within it, as if bound by invisible chains. And you understand now that to look into his eyes is to see everything and nothing at the same time. The air becomes heavy with an unsettling presence, and the smoke swirls thicker, denser, as though something is stirring in the dark corners of this forgotten realm. It is then that you hear it, faint at first, but growing louder, the faintest sound of a distant drum beating with a steady rhythmic pulse. The drums echo in your mind, growing louder, more insistent, until you cannot ignore them. They are not just sounds, they are messages, ancient whispers, pulling you back in time to a moment long lost to history. You begin to see flashes, like fractured images, dancing in the smoke. In those flashes, you see gods Tezcatlipoca and Quetzalcoatl. Their rivalry is as old as time itself, and it is one that has shaped the very foundation of the world. You see the feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl, his radiant form shining brightly in stark contrast to the darkness of Tezcatlipoca. The two gods face off, their power clashing like a storm, one of light and one of shadow, both struggling for control. And then you see the moment, the one that changed everything, the moment when Tezcatlipoca struck. His influence spread like a poisonous fog, and Quetzalcoatl, ever the noble one, was betrayed. The image before you becomes clearer. You see Quetzalcoatl's blood, the sacred blood of the feathered serpent, spilling onto the ground, tainting the earth, staining it with the betrayal of a god. But there is something more, something that makes your heart freeze. As Quetzalcoatl's blood falls, it is not just his life that is being sacrificed, it is the divine essence itself. Tezcatlipoca, ever the manipulator, did not merely seek to kill his rival. No, he sought to destroy him completely, to erase all traces of Quetzalcoatl's existence from the memory of the world. His blood, once sacred, once revered, was scattered, lost to time, and no longer remembered. Tezcatlipoca did not just break a god, he broke the very foundation of faith. The gods who once walked among men and commanded their devotion became nothing more than shadows, fading away into the void. The divine order was shattered, and with it, the understanding of what was once sacred. Quetzalcoatl's blood, once a symbol of life and light, became a symbol of defeat, a symbol of what happens when one god overpowers another. You understand now that Tezcatlipoca's influence extends far beyond mere observation. He is not just a god who watches. He is a god who shapes, who destroys, who takes the very essence of life and bends it to his will. And he has done so with Quetzalcoatl, the god of life, of creation, and of light. But even as you begin to process this truth, another voice rises within the smoke, one that is both familiar and terrifying. It is Tezcatlipoca's voice, but this time it carries a new edge, one of triumph, of finality. "You see, mortal," he whispers, his voice laced with satisfaction. "This is the price of ambition. This is the price of defiance. Even gods must bow to me in the end." The smoke grows darker, heavier, and you feel the weight of his words pressing in on you. The image of Quetzalcoatl's blood spilling into the earth lingers in your mind. The sacrifice was not just of a god's life, it was the unraveling of everything that was sacred. everything that the gods once represented. As the smoke surrounds you, you cannot help but wonder, was Quetzalcoatl truly defeated? Or did he, too, become part of the smoke, another lost god, another forgotten soul? The image before you begins to shift again, becoming a blur, a swirl of darkness and light. You see Tezcatlipoca standing over the fallen Quetzalcoatl, his eyes alight with victory. His hand reaches out, touching the blood-soaked earth. And then, with a final crushing blow, the blood vanishes into the earth, swallowed whole by the darkness. The gods are gone. Their essence is lost to time, erased from the very fabric of the world. And in their place stands Tezcatlipoca, the god who watches in smoke, whose influence stretches beyond the realms of both the gods and men. You think you can escape, mortal? Tezcatlipoca's voice asks, this time not with triumph, but with a cruel amusement. You cannot escape what is already inside you. The gods are gone, yes, but their influence remains. You too will become part of the smoke. And in that moment, you understand. The blood of Quetzalcoatl was not just spilled on the ground, it was absorbed, taken by the smoke, consumed by the god who watches. And now, you are part of that same smoke, bound by the god's gaze, lost in the shadows of forgotten gods. You have seen the cost of ambition, you have seen the price of defiance, and now there is no escaping the smoke. The air around you grows heavier still, the suffocating weight of Tezcatlipoca, its gaze pressing down with an intensity that feels like the very air is alive with his presence. The smoke thickens again, coiling around you like a living serpent, wrapping itself tighter and tighter as if it too seeks to absorb you into its endless depths. But it is not just the smoke that surrounds you now. There is something else, something older, something darker. A low, almost imperceptible hum fills the air. You strain to listen, but the sound is fleeting, shifting like a whisper carried on the wind. The smoke seems to twist in response, parting momentarily to reveal a shadowy figure standing just beyond the haze. You can make out the form of a warrior clad in armor, his face hidden beneath a helmet, his body shrouded in the very same smoke that fills this realm. The warrior steps forward, his movements slow, deliberate, as though weighed down by a burden too heavy for mortal hands. He does not speak, but his presence is undeniable. There is something haunting about him, something that makes your breath catch in your throat. The air is charged with an unsettling energy, and you realize with a start, this warrior is not alive. He is a hollow echo, a remnant of a forgotten past, bound to the will of Tezcatlipoca. The warrior raises his arm, and in his hand he holds a black mirror, a dark obsidian relic, gleaming with an unnatural luster. The mirror reflects not the world around it, but the emptiness of the soul, the void where the god's power resides. The moment your gaze falls upon it, a wave of nausea rises in your chest, and you are compelled to look away. But it is too late. The image within the mirror begins to twist, distort, and you see something horrifying. Within the mirror's depths, you see yourself not as you are now, but as you might have been had you been marked by the god's gaze. You see your soul, stripped bare, the very core of your being laid out in front of you. But it is not just your reflection that you see. You see the reflections of others, of those who have fallen before you, whose souls have been shattered by the god's power, their bodies transformed into hollow vessels, empty and lifeless, their souls consumed by the smoke. The warrior moves closer, the mirror held high, as though offering it to you. The reflection in the mirror shifts again, and you see a vision of the past. An ancient battlefield strewn with the bodies of warriors, faces contorted in agony, their eyes hollow, their souls lost to the god who watches. The image flickers and fades, and in its place, you see the hollow warriors, those who once served Tezcatlipoca, now mere echoes of their former selves. These warriors are not alive. They are not dead either. They are the remnants of those who sought to gain power from Tezcatlipoca's mirror, only to be consumed by it. They are the hollow ones, trapped in an endless cycle of existence and oblivion. Their souls lost in the void, their bodies turned into vessels of smoke and shadow. The god's voice fills your mind once more, this time with a tone of cruel amusement. Do you see them? These are the warriors who sought power, who sought to become gods themselves. But they were foolish, like all who challenged me. Their souls were hollowed out, their bodies transformed into nothing more than vessels for my will. The warrior before you raises the mirror higher, and for a moment you are paralyzed, caught in the reflection of the hollow souls. The faces of the lost warriors stare back at you, their eyes empty, their bodies devoid of life. They are the price of ambition, the price of defiance. The god's power consumes them, leaving nothing behind but shadows. Do you understand now? Tezcatlipoca's voice whispers, softer, more insistent. The mirror reveals not just the soul, it reveals the truth of existence. Those who look into it are never the same. They are marked, hollowed, consumed by their desire for power. They become nothing more than echoes, wandering in the smoke for all eternity. The mirror trembles in the warrior's hand as if responding to Tezcatlipoca's words. And in that moment, you feel the weight of the god's gaze upon you once again, suffocating, relentless. The reflection in the mirror seems to pull you in, drawing you closer to the void. You feel the pull of the god's power, the promise of knowledge, of power beyond mortal comprehension. But you also feel the cost of looking into the mirror, of seeking what should remain hidden. Your heart beats faster, the rhythm quickening as the smoke swirls around you, pressing in on every side. You know what the mirror offers? It offers a glimpse of the truth, a truth that no mortal can bear. The warriors who gazed into it were broken, their souls consumed, their bodies left behind as hollow shells. The god's voice calls to you once more, a whisper in the darkness. Will you look mortal? Will you face the truth of your soul? Or will you remain like the others, a shadow of what you once were? The mirror before you shimmers, the reflection twisting, pulling you closer. The smoke thickens, drowning you in its suffocating presence. We're on the edge now, teetering between the world of the living and the world of the lost. The hollow warriors forever trapped in the god's gaze. You hesitate, but the pull is irresistible. The truth beckons, and with it, the promise of knowledge, power, and destruction. And with a final, trembling breath, you step forward, your gaze fixed on the mirror. The reflection consumes you, and the smoke wraps around you like a shroud, dragging you deeper into the void. The smoke envelops you, thicker now, so dense that you can scarcely see. The air is charged with an almost tangible energy, one that feels ancient and unsettling. You stumble forward, your mind clouded, and you feel as though you're being pulled along by an invisible force. The whispers of Tezcatlipoca continue to echo in your mind, growing louder, as though the god himself is drawing you deeper into his domain. Suddenly, the smoke begins to thin, and a flickering light appears ahead of you. You draw closer, each step heavy with the weight of what you've already witnessed, and you find yourself standing before the remains of something vast, something sacred. It is a temple, once grand and imposing, but now abandoned, its walls crumbled and its stones shattered. The entrance is dark, a yawning maw that seems to swallow the light, and you know instinctively that within it lies the heart of Tezcatlipoca's forgotten power. The temple, though broken and forsaken, exudes an aura of dark reverence, as though it still holds the echoes of a time when the gods walked among men, when Tezcatlipoca ruled with unchallenged might. The walls are adorned with carvings, ancient symbols that have long since faded from human memory. They tell of gods and mortals, of sacrifices and rituals, of power won and lost. The smoke seems to linger here too, swirling around the ruins, as if it is a part of the temple itself, a remnant of what once was. You step inside, your breath catching in your throat. The air is thick with the scent of decay, but beneath it is something else, something older, something primal. You feel it in the pit of your stomach, that strange pull, as though the temple itself is alive, breathing in time with the god who created it. In the center of the temple, you find it a great altar, cracked and worn by the passage of time. Upon it lies a relic, a dark mirror, its surface dull and chipped. It is the same mirror you've seen before, the one that Tezcatlipoca uses to judge and to consume. But this mirror is different. This is the original, the one that once held the god's gaze. It is said that this mirror could see into the very essence of the soul, revealing not only the truth, but the darkness that lies beneath. You approach the altar cautiously, drawn by the weight of the mirror. As you stand before it, you realize that the reflection staring back at you is not your own. The mirror is empty, save for the swirling darkness within. It is a void, a chasm that draws you in. a place where all things are forgotten, where no light can escape. You understand now. This mirror is not a tool, it is a trap, an instrument of Tezcatlipoca's will. Those who looked into it, those who sought to gain knowledge or power, were consumed by it. Their souls were drawn into the void, lost to the god's unblinking gaze. And now, as you stand before it, you know that you are not just looking into the mirror, you are being drawn into it. The smoke surrounds you, pressing against your skin, your mind, your very soul. Tezcatlipoca's voice fills your mind once again, distant but undeniable. Do you see, mortal? This is the heart of my power, the source of my gaze. It is here that the gods are born and destroyed. It is here that the truths of the world are revealed, and where they are lost. The mirror shows all, but in showing, it takes. It devours what it sees, just as I devour the souls of those who dare challenge me. You reach out, your fingers trembling, and the moment your hand touches the cold, jagged surface of the mirror, the world shifts. You are no longer standing in the temple. You are falling, spiraling down into the void, the smoke swirling around you like a storm. The altar fades, the walls of the temple crumble, and all that remains is the blackness of the mirror, the emptiness of Tezcatlipoca's realm.
Altars.
You are trapped. There is no escape from the god's gaze now. You feel the weight of his power pressing down on you, consuming you, pulling you deeper into the smoke. The mirror reflects nothing but the void, but in its emptiness, you see everything that was, everything that could have been, and everything that will never be. Tezcatlipoca's laughter rings in your ears, soft and mocking, as though he has already won. You thought you could escape, he whispers, his voice echoing in the darkness. But there is no escape from me. There is no escape from the smoke. You are mine now, and your soul will become a part of my endless gaze. The darkness closes in around you, suffocating, overwhelming. You feel yourself fading, slipping into the void. The temple, the mirror, the god, they are all consuming you. And in the end, you realize that Tezcatlipoca was never truly lost. He has been watching all along, waiting for you to fall into his grasp. And now you have. The void is suffocating, and the air around you presses in like an unyielding weight, thick with the ancient power of Tezcatlipoca. You feel the smoke wrap around you, a shroud that clings to your skin and seeps into your very soul. It is as though you are trapped in a timeless space, a place between worlds, where the laws of existence no longer hold sway. And yet, even in this dark, oppressive place, you sense something stirring a faint, almost imperceptible hum beneath the weight of the smoke. It is a pulse, like the beating of a heart, and it echoes with the power of the gods. The war is not over. The war between the gods, between Tezcatlipoca and his enemies, continues, but it is not fought on the mortal plane. Now, this war is fought in the very fabric of the universe. In the space between the worlds, where the gods battle for control over the realms of men and gods alike, the smoke thickens, and as it does, the visions return. They are not the fragmented, fleeting images of the past that you've seen before. No, these are different. These are the raw, unfiltered memories of the gods themselves. You see them now not as they once appeared to mortals, but as they truly are, beings of immense power, whose wills can shape the very essence of existence. You see Tezcatlipoca, standing amidst the chaos, his dark eyes unblinking, his gaze eternal. His power radiates from him like a storm, a tempest that consumes everything in its path. But there are other gods who seek to stop him, to break his hold on the world. You see Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, his radiant form a stark contrast to Tezcatlipoca's shadow. The two gods are locked in battle, not with weapons, but with their very essence. Their wills clashing like thunder and lightning, shaking the foundations of the cosmos. But this is no simple war. It is a war of manipulation, a war of subtlety, a war fought in the shadows, where the gods pull the strings of mortals and shape the world to their whims. Tezcatlipoca, with his unblinking gaze, watches from the shadows, orchestrating the chaos, controlling the flow of fate. His enemies are many, but they are divided, each one pursuing their own agendas, each one seeking to undermine the others. But none of them able to defeat Tezcatlipoca. And so the battle rages on, not in the heavens above, but in the minds and hearts of those who worship these gods. Mortals are pawns in this game, their lives mere flickers in the eternal dance of the divine. The gods do not fight for supremacy on the battlefield. They fight for control over the hearts and minds of the world, shaping history as they see fit. But there is something more, something darker lurking beneath the surface. As you stand in the midst of this war, you realize that it is not just the gods who are at war with one another. It is the very fabric of existence that is at stake. The balance of the world is fragile, and with each passing moment, the gods grow stronger, their influence spreading further into the realm of mortals. Tezcatlipoca, in his endless patience, knows this.
No.
He knows that the mortal realm is the key to his ultimate victory. He has been manipulating the flow of history for eons, carefully guiding the rise and fall of empires, shaping the destinies of kings and queens, warriors and priests. His influence is everywhere, even in the most mundane of moments. Everything that happens in the world is part of his plan, a plan that spans centuries, even millennia. And yet, despite his power, Tezcatlipoca is not invincible. His enemies, though scattered and divided, are not completely powerless. There are cracks in the foundation of his dominion, and in those cracks there is hope. The gods may be locked in an eternal struggle, but even they are subject to the whims of fate. The question is not whether Tezcatlipoca will win, but whether the world can survive his victory. The whispers of the gods grow louder, and you feel yourself being drawn into the conflict. You are no longer just a witness to the war. You are part of it, caught in the web of the gods' influence. The smoke wraps around you, pulling you deeper into the conflict. And you understand now that you are not just an observer, you are a player in this game, your fate intertwined with the gods themselves. Tezcatlipoca's voice fills your mind, his presence overwhelming. Do you see, mortal? Do you see the war I wage? It is not just for control of the world. It is for control of the very essence of existence. In you, his voice softens, a cruel whisper. You are but a pawn in my game. Your fate is sealed, as are the fates of all who dare challenge me. The war rages on, and you know that there is no escaping it. You are bound to the gods' will, caught in the eternal struggle between creation and destruction. And in that moment, you realize that the only way to break free is to understand the truth. That there is no escape from Tezcatlipoca's gaze. His influence is everywhere, and the war he fights is not one of mortals or gods, but one that transcends time and space itself. The gods may fight among themselves, but in the end, it is Tezcatlipoca who will emerge victorious. His watchful eyes fixed on the world for all eternity. You cannot remember when the world stopped turning, or when the smoke around you began to deepen into shadows. Time has become an endless river, flowing without purpose, without destination. All that matters now is the smoke, the swirling, ever-present smoke that wraps itself around your thoughts and whispers in your ears. It is not just the smoke that binds you, it is the God's will, which permeates everything, which bends the world around you like a puppeteer with 1,000 strings. Tezcatlipoca's gaze never falters, and even in this disorienting realm between the realms, you feel it always watching, always waiting. The air seems to shift. The edges of reality itself become blurred, and you feel the pull of something deeper, something more ancient than even the gods themselves. You begin to walk, your steps hesitant at first, but then, as if guided by an unseen force, you move forward. The path you walk is not a path you have chosen. It is the path that Tezcatlipoca has laid before you. And though you wish to turn back, you find you cannot. The whispers, those soft, intoxicating murmurs of the god, fill your mind. You hear them clearer now, as though they are speaking not just to your ears, but to your very soul. Do you understand, mortal? The god asks, his voice both gentle and terrifying. Your journey is not one of flesh and bone. It is a journey of the spirit, and your spirit has already begun to slip away. The smoke around you grows denser, and as you walk deeper into it, you feel your body grow heavier, as though the weight of your very existence is being pulled from you, piece by piece. It is not just your body that is being drained. It is your soul, your essence, being consumed by the smoke. By Tezcatlipoca's all-seeing gaze. In the distance, you see something a flicker, a shadow. It is faint at first, but it grows clearer the longer you watch. You move toward it, drawn by the strange compulsion that has taken hold of you. It is a figure, standing alone in the smoke, its form shrouded in shadow. As you approach, you see it more clearly, a figure wearing a cloak of darkness, its face hidden beneath the hood. You stop in your tracks, a cold shiver running down your spine. There is something familiar about this figure, something that makes your heart race. And then, the figure turns toward you, and you are struck by the recognition. The face beneath the hood is not a face at all. It is a reflection of your own. You stand before yourself, but you are not you. No, this is not your form. This is the soul you have become, the hollow thing that has been shaped by the smoke, by the god's unyielding gaze. The figure raises its hand, and you feel a surge of power and energy that is not your own but something darker, something born of Tezcatlipoca's will. Do you see? The figure whispers. This is your soul, stripped bare, consumed by the smoke of the god. It was never yours to control. It was always his. And now, you belong to him. The figure's voice is both haunting and familiar, and as it speaks, you feel a pull, a tug, deep within your chest. You realize that the figure before you is not just a reflection. It is a memory, a part of yourself that has been consumed by Tezcatlipoca's influence. And in that realization, you understand the truth, that God has always been with you. He has always been inside you, shaping your thoughts, your desires, your very soul. He has been watching you from the moment you first heard his name, guiding you into his realm, into the smoke, where there is no escape. The smoke is not just a physical presence. It is the essence of his power, the very thing that binds the world together. And now, you are part of it. You are part of him. The figure smiles, and though its lips do not move, you hear the words echo in your mind. You are mine, mortal. You always have been. You are the smoke, and the smoke is you. You stagger back, your mind reeling from the weight of the truth. The figure before you is no longer a reflection. It is your soul, twisted and consumed by the god's gaze. It is the part of you that has been lost, the part that has been hollowed out by the smoke. And as you stand before it, you realize that there is no returning from this. There is no escape from Tezcatlipoca's watchful eye. The path you walk is no longer one of free will. It is the path of a soul already claimed, already consumed by the god. There is no light in this place, no hope, no salvation. There's only the smoke, the endless, suffocating smoke that wraps itself around you like a shroud, pulling you deeper into the void. Tezcatlipoca's voice fills your mind again, softer now, almost tender. You were never meant to be free. You were always meant to return to me. Now, your journey has come to an end. The figure in front of you fades, dissolving into the smoke as though it was never truly there. But its presence lingers, hanging in the air like a dark cloud. And you understand that this is your fate, your soul, your very being, is now part of the smoke, part of Tezcatlipoca's eternal gaze. And as the smoke closes around you, you realize with a terrifying certainty that you are lost. The journey has ended. You are now one with the god, one with the darkness. There is no more you. There is only the smoke and the god who watches over it all. You stand still in the void, but time seems to slip through your fingers like sand lost to the wind. The smoke, thick and ever-present, encircles you, choking out any semblance of hope. It is as though you are standing at the edge of existence, and in this place, there is no escape, no way to return to what once was. The cold, suffocating grasp of Tezcatlipoca's gaze presses against you from all sides. And yet, within the smoke, a strange thing begins to happen. A flicker of light breaks through the suffocating darkness. It is fleeting, a faint pulse that seems to call to you, but it vanishes as quickly as it appears. Then, another flicker, this time brighter, more insistent. Something stirs within you, a longing, desire to understand, to know why you are here, why you have been chosen to walk this path. It is then that you hear it, a soft, broken cry, one that echoes from the depths of the smoke. You turn, drawn by the sound, and what you see sends a shiver down your spine. There, kneeling before you, is a figure, a shadow of a figure. It is a person, but not a person you recognize. The form is disfigured, broken, as though shattered by an unseen force. The shape is a warrior, but not like the hollow warriors you have seen before. No, this warrior is different. His heart is exposed, torn from his chest, and hanging in the air before him. The blood, the sacred blood, is spilling into the smoke, its red hue staining the darkened air. And yet, despite the brokenness, the warrior's eyes are not full of despair. They are filled with something else, something far more terrifying. Regret. The figure's hand reaches out toward you, trembling as though it is struggling to hold on to something long lost. His fingers brush against the smoke, but they pass through it, unable to hold on to anything. The man looks at you, his eyes pleading. "I was once as you are," he says, his voice soft, broken. "A servant of the gods. A man who gave everything to Tezcatlipoca, and in return, I lost my heart. I thought I could give him my soul, my very essence, and he would grant me power. But what he gave me in return was far worse. He took everything from me. My heart, my soul, my very identity. I became nothing, hollow." His words echo in your mind, reverberating like a pulse, and you feel a deep, terrible truth stir inside you. This warrior, this broken soul, was once like you. He too had sought Tezcatlipoca's power, his gaze, and had offered himself to the god. But in the end, Tezcatlipoca took everything from him. The warrior, now broken and lost, is a reflection of what awaits you if you continue down this path. A path where your heart, your soul is no longer yours to control. A path where the god who watches in smoke takes everything, leaving you with nothing but an empty vessel. The warrior's hand trembles, reaching for you, but there is no salvation in his touch. "We're already his," the warrior says, his voice breaking, "but you can still choose. You can still turn back before it's too late. Don't let him take you completely. Don't let him strip away your heart. Once it is gone, you will be nothing but smoke, nothing but a shadow, a hollow echo of what you once were. You want to step forward, to help, to do something, but something holds you back. The god's gaze weighs heavily on you, and as you look at the warrior, something deep inside you stirs a dark realization. This man, once a servant of the god, is now broken beyond repair, a shell of his former self. Tezcatlipoca's power has consumed him entirely, and his heart, once full of life, now lies scattered in the smoke, never to return. The warrior falls to his knees, his voice barely a whisper. "There is no redemption for me," he says, "but for you. For you, there is still a choice. Don't make the same mistake I did. Don't give your heart to him." The warrior's words are not enough. The smoke closes in around him, swallowing him whole. His form dissolves, vanishing into the mist, and with it, any hope that you had left. Tezcatlipoca's voice fills your mind again, his words colder, more final than before. "Do you see, mortal?" he asks, his voice heavy with dark satisfaction. "This is what awaits all who serve me. I do not take lightly the hearts of those who seek my power. I give, yes, but I also take. I take their souls, their essence, and leave them with nothing but shadows. You are no different. You are already mine. Your heart is mine. And when you offer it to me, as all mortals must, it will be broken." The god's gaze pierces you once more, and you feel the weight of his power press down on your chest, on your very soul. You are trapped, bound by the god's will, and with each passing moment, you feel the last remnants of your heart slip away. The warrior's warning, his plea is a fading echo in your mind, but it is too late. You are no longer who you once were. You are becoming what the god wants you to be, nothing more than smoke. You feel it now. The weight of Tezcatlipoca's gaze is more than a mere presence. It has become your reality, and every thought, every breath, every step you take is marked by it. The very essence of the god flows through you, seeping into every corner of your being, twisting you into something unrecognizable. The air is thick with his influence, and as you walk through the haze, you can no longer tell where you end and the smoke begins. But amidst the suffocating darkness, a new vision emerges. It is faint at first, a flicker of light dancing in the distance. And as you draw nearer, you realize that it is not just any light. It is a flame, flickering with a strange fiery glow. The fire burns brighter as you approach, and the smoke that surrounds you seems to part, as if it is giving way to something else, something more ancient, something that lies forgotten beneath the veil of time. Step forward, drawn to the flame, and as you do, the scene before you unfolds like a lost memory. The center of the fire, you see them, the gods, but they are not the gods you have come to know. These are older gods, gods that once ruled before Tezcatlipoca, gods that have long since fallen into obscurity. Their faces are twisted in agony, their forms shrouded in shadows, their bodies scorched by the very flames that once gave them power. The fire that burns around them is not a symbol of life, but of destruction. It is not the light of creation, but the fire of ruin, the flames that consume everything in their path, leaving nothing but ashes in their wake. These gods, once mighty, once revered, are now nothing more than husks. Their power stripped away by the very flames that once fueled their strength. They have fallen. Their light extinguished by the hand of Tezcatlipoca, and now they are trapped in the smoke. Lost to time, their names forgotten. You step closer, unable to tear your eyes away from the tragic spectacle before you. The fire flickers, casting long, dancing shadows across the fallen gods. Their faces are etched with pain, their eyes hollow with regret. And as you watch them, you realize the truth. Tezcatlipoca is not just a god of the present. He is the god of the past, of all that came before him. He is the one who watches, who remembers, and who consumes. One of the gods, the figure closest to the fire, lifts its head, its eyes locking with yours. The gaze is cold, empty, but it carries with it a weight of sorrow. A sorrow that seems to reach out from beyond the smoke, from beyond the flames. You see us now, the god speaks, its voice weak, like the crackling of dying embers. We were once the ones who shaped the world, who ruled over all things. But Tezcatlipoca's hunger is endless, and when he came for us, we had no choice but to fall. We gave him our power, our essence, and in return, we were consumed. Our names were erased from the world, and now we are nothing but whispers in the smoke, shadows in the fire. The god's voice trembles, and it slumps back into the flames, its form flickering like the last remnants of a dying light. The fire dims, and the smoke thickens once more, wrapping itself around the fallen gods, suffocating them in its eternal embrace. And as the flames die, you understand the price of Tezcatlipoca's power, the destruction of all who came before, the erasure of their existence from the world, and the twisting of their souls into the smoke. You turn away, but the images of the fallen gods cling to your mind, haunting you with their pain, their regret. You feel the weight of their gaze, and you understand now that Tezcatlipoca is not just a god who watches. He is a god who consumes. He's the one who shapes the world in his image, tearing apart all who dare defy him, leaving nothing but broken remnants in his wake. As you walk deeper into the smoke, the fire fades behind you, its flames extinguished by the god's unyielding power. The world around you grows darker, colder, as if the very essence of life is being drained from it, consumed by the god's eternal gaze. The smoke presses in tighter, and you feel the air grow heavy with the weight of the god's fall. Their light is gone, their power extinguished, and in their place stands only the god who watches, whose hunger can never be satisfied. You are mine! Tezcatlipoca's voice fills your mind once more, cold and final. As they were mine, as you will be. And as the smoke thickens, you feel the last remnants of your will slip away. The fire of the fallen gods fades into nothingness, leaving only the shadows of their existence behind. And in the depths of the smoke, you realize that you, too, will become a shadow, a whisper lost in the god's eternal gaze. Time no longer seems to matter, as the world once vibrant and full of possibilities has become a haze of smoke and shadows. It's an endless expanse that stretches out before you, forever consuming. You have walked this path for what feels like eternity, each step heavier than the last. Each breath more labored as you succumb to the suffocating weight of Tezcatlipoca's gaze. There is no escape from it, no turning back. The smoke curls around you, a living entity that knows no mercy. It binds you, suffocates you, until you no longer feel your own heart beating. You are hollow now, like the gods who came before you. Your soul, like theirs, has been consumed by the darkness, swallowed whole by the God who watches from beyond time. There is nothing left of the world you once knew. There is only the smoke, the God, and the eternal gaze that watches over all. And yet, even in this darkness, something stirs within you. It is faint at first, a flicker of resistance, a spark of defiance. You feel it deep within your chest, in the place where your heart once beat. The pulse, though weak, is still their reminder of who you once were, a reminder of the person you were before Tezcatlipoca claimed you. You look around, and the smoke seems to part for a brief moment, just enough to let you see what lies ahead. It is a vision, strange, disorienting, yet familiar. The air is thick with the weight of it, and as you step forward, you are filled with a sense of unease. There in the distance, you see him, Tezcatlipoca, but this is not the god you have come to know. This is a different Tezcatlipoca, one whose presence is not as cold or distant. He is closer now, standing before you, his form shrouded in darkness, his eyes gleaming with an intensity that sends a shiver through your spine. His gaze is unwavering, his focus entirely on you. The god speaks, his voice soft but powerful, filling the space around you, vibrating in your very bones. Now, you have come far, mortal, he whispers, further than most dare. You have walked through the smoke, through the remnants of those who were lost before you. You have seen what they have become, but you are different. You are still here, still lingering in the smoke. You still have something left. You tremble at his words, unable to look away from his gaze. It is as though the god's eyes can pierce through you, seeing everything you have ever been, everything you have ever done. In his eyes, you are nothing but a shadow, a reflection of something that was once whole, but is now broken, consumed by the very god who watches. Do you feel it? Tezcatlipoca's voice asks again, quieter this time. The pulse in your chest, the lingering essence of your soul. It is faint, yes, but it is there. I can feel it. I can feel your resistance. Still cling to the hope of something more. But you cannot outrun me. You cannot escape what you have become. The god steps closer, his form shifting and flickering like the smoke itself, as if he is both a part of it and beyond it. You feel his presence envelop you, drowning you in his eternal gaze. It is as though you are drowning in his essence, suffocating under the weight of his power. And then Tezcatlipoca speaks again, his voice softer now, almost tender. But even in your defiance, even in your struggle, there is something that I admire. You are not completely lost. Not yet. You still have a choice. The smoke swirls around you, pulling you into the god's presence as he continues. You have seen the fallen gods, he says. You have witnessed the fate of those who once stood beside me, the gods who tried to defy me. They fell, just as all must fall. But you are different. You still have your heart, even if it is not the same as it once was. You still have the choice to surrender to me, to accept your place in the smoke, or you can turn away, can refuse. But know this, there is no escape. There is only the smoke. And in the end, I will always find you. Tezcatlipoca's voice reverberates in your mind, a final consuming truth. The god who watches, who shapes the world with his endless gaze, is not just a being of power. He is the force of fate itself, the force that bends the world to his will. There is no breaking free from him. There is no salvation. There is only surrender. You have chosen your path, mortal, Tezcatlipoca whispers. Now, you must walk it. The god's form dissolves into the smoke, his presence lingering, pressing in on you like an overwhelming tide. You feel yourself being drawn back into the swirling mist, your body, your soul, slipping away once more. You have become part of the smoke, part of the eternal gaze that watches over the world. There is no more you. Yes. There is only the god and the smoke. And as the smoke closes around you, you realize the truth. There is no escape. You have become part of the god who watches, part of the endless cycle that never ends. There are no more choices. There is only the next whisper, older still, for those who truly listen. The smoke wraps around you, suffocating, pressing in from all sides. It is no longer just the air around you. It is a part of you, a living force that pulses with the will of Tezcatlipoca. You can feel it in your veins, coursing through you like blood, filling the empty spaces inside you, erasing everything you once were. The path you once walked is no longer clear. The world has become a haze, a blur of shadows and whispers, as though you are no longer walking through time but simply drifting, lost in the smoke. There is no distinction between you and the god, no difference between your breath and the god's gaze. You are part of the eternal cycle now, bound by his will, woven into the fabric of the smoke. You hear the whispers again, faint at first, like distant voices carried on the wind. But the more you listen, the clearer they become. They are not just the words of Tezcatlipoca, but the voices of those who came before you, those whose names have been lost, erased by the god's endless hunger. They are the forgotten ones, the ones whose souls were consumed by the god long ago. Their prayers rise in the smoke, haunting, mournful, filled with a sorrow that transcends time. They speak not of their lost lives, but of the moment they realize the truth that there is no escape from Tezcatlipoca. There is no salvation. There is only the smoke and the god who watches. You are not the first, a voice whispers, ancient and worn. Nor will you be the last. We were once like you, full of hope, full of defiance. We too thought we could resist, that we could find a way to break free. But there is no way out. There is only surrender. The smoke thickens, pressing against you as the voices grow louder, filling the air with their sorrow. We gave everything, another voice says, this one softer, almost pleading. We gave our hearts, our souls, to the god, believing we would be granted power, eternal life. But what we were given was nothing but the smoke. We became lost in it, forgotten by all but the god who watches. You can feel their pain, their regret, seeping into your very soul. These are the voices of those who once stood as gods, who once ruled with power and might. And now, they are nothing shadows in the smoke, their names erased from the world. They are the forgotten ones, the ones who paid the price for defying Tezcatlipoca's will. A final voice rises, one that is both familiar and distant, as though it comes from the depths of your own being. Do you understand now? It asks, soft but penetrating. There is no escape from the god's gaze. There never was. We were all part of him, just as you are now. The smoke is not just his power, it is his essence. And now it is yours. You tremble as the weight of the word settles over you. You have crossed the threshold, and there is no turning back. You've given yourself to the god, and in doing so, you have become part of him. You are one with the smoke, one with the god who watches. There is no freedom, no escape. Only the eternal cycle of creation and destruction, of power and sacrifice. And yet, even in the depths of this realization, something stirs within you. It is faint, like the last flicker of a dying flame, but it is there. A final, desperate prayer, one last cry for mercy, for redemption. Is there no hope? You whisper. The words barely audible, lost in the smoke. But there is no answer, only the heavy silence of the god's gaze. The smoke swirls around you, pulling you deeper into its embrace, and the last remnants of your will begin to fade. You are no longer a person. You are no longer a soul. You are a part of the god, a part of the smoke, forever lost to the endless gaze of Tezcatlipoca. If your candle hasn't gone out, then you're probably ready for the next god. The final prayer is spoken not by you, but by the forgotten ones. And as the smoke closes in, as the god's gaze settles over you, you know that this is the end of your journey, the end of your existence as you once knew it. There are more gods. There are always more gods. The next whisper is older still, but only for those who truly listen.